Okay, so this part of the project is going to be starting the first layer, if you will, on your main drawing. So we've already prepared our paper. We also have our sketches. I only made one, but you're gonna make three, and you're gonna select one of the three. I'm gonna help you select those, and then you're gonna use it as a starting point to build your composition. Granted, the window here, the proportion of the window, the frame, is not in perfect proportion with this here. So you're gonna make some adjustments. Remember, this is just a starting point. What I like about this composition is your eye enters here and it kind of moves up. It seems to be balanced on both sides with these big, large, I'm just gonna call them concrete forms. And then these smaller little echoing rectangles kind of working their way up with a lot of negative space seems to balance the two sides out. So that's what I call asymmetrical balance, where it's not even on both sides. However, there's a appears to be a sense of balance just by the arrangement of forms. And again, it's just rectangles at this point. You're just gonna fill this space in with rectangles. So again, I'm using this as my guide. I had this on a foam board because I just photographed it, and it's helpful if you have a quick piece of foam board laying around from a 3D class or something of that nature. So I'll use this as my guide. And remember, it's just a guide. You do not have to copy this word for word, but it will give you a starting point so you don't feel like you're starting from scratch. First thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put my horizon line in. Since you already put your sheets of paper on, that's what these wings are for. And I'm gonna put my horizon line in. I'm just gonna put it in around. If it's not perfectly horizontal, it's not a big deal. I'm gonna put it right here. When you guys are drawing, I want you to use a 4H pencil. I'm gonna use an HB specifically so you can see what I'm doing. If I were to use a 4H pencil, I don't know if the camera would pick this up. So I'm an exception at the moment. But you're gonna use a 4H, which is a light. Now a 4H or a 2H, it's a harder pencil, it's a harder graphite. And just to kind of explain how graphite works, you have your 5B, 6B, B means soft, and the higher the number, the softer the pencil. And what I mean by soft, soft means that it is a dark, dark line, and your pencil dulls out pretty quickly because it's a softer graphite. As you go towards your H pencils, so an HB is kind of a middle mixture between B and H, and that's actually your number 2 pencil you take tests with. An H pencil is a little harder than that. A 2H, a 3H, a 4H, and so on. They go up to 8H, and might even go more. So your harder pencils are good for making preliminary work because you're going to erase a lot of this stuff. And it's easier to erase a nice light line. So these light lines that you're going to make, do not press harder onto the paper because it's not making a dark line. That's just going to incise the paper and ruin the paper. It's deliberately supposed to be a light line because like an architect building or old school architect making drawings, you're going to slowly work your way up to softer pencils and slowly commit to the form. At this point, this is a process-based project. So this is just stage 1. There's 6 stages. This is going to change dramatically. This is a starting point to here, and then once you're here, then you start to read and react to it. So I'm going to put a vanishing point out here, and I'm going to put a vanishing point right here. Don't make your vanishing points super big. If they're so big, like big dots, every time you line a ruler up to it, you're just hoping it's in the center of there somewhere. I just don't know if this is up here in the view of the camera, but I'm also gonna put a vanishing point way up here. Nice thing about that, if you can see this, anything on the other side of the ruler, I don't want to work on anyway, meaning anything on that side, and what I'm trying to say is that there's only a little bit of a corner here that's not going to get touched, and I don't have to worry about it. There's a big space here that I can play with. Your horizon line should be somewhere like 1/3 of the way down. Around that, you can kind of see it's what I did here, kind of, sort of. This will be the halfway point, so it's a little bit more than 1/3. Just around here, just lower than the halfway point, that's definite. All right, so the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start off, this whole video is not gonna be me copying this, I'm just gonna show you how to use this as a starting point, and then you're gonna fill in the space, just like I filled in the space here. So I think the first cube that I made was this guy, this big fella right there. And I'm just gonna guesstimate. This looks to be a little bit left of the halfway point. If that was a halfway point, I'm just gonna put a little dot here. And I'm gonna connect it, great. I'm gonna connect it to that dot there. My third point, which you can't see. And then I'm just gonna kind of throw this guy in, okay? As I'm looking at it, it might be a little bit too much to the left. And remember, that's the left side here. So the center part, which is right here, which is the part you're supposed to draw first, I'm not too concerned about that. What's first or second, because I know how to draw in perspective, so I can just kind of add that in. So I'm just gonna throw another line in about right, let me put it about right here. Okay, so far I put this line and that line. Next thing I'm gonna do, think about right here is where I start to go down to the left vanishing point. Now I will say one of the most annoying things about taping your paper down, which is very important, because you don't want this thing to move on you 100,000 times. And I also have a nice drawing board here. It's just a piece of plywood that I sanded down. Anything that's flat works. Kind of forgot what I was going to say, but that's okay. This is a live one take video. Oh, that's what I was going to say, because it just happened to me. So if your tape, for example, has a little indentation on it or something, the ruler will catch it. And notice I'm using the back side of this ruler because I'd rather have the ruler to slide around. That's going to get annoying too. And it just makes for an easier working process. The other thing, I do have a larger, oh, it's right here, graph ruler here, but I can't use that all the time. It's actually, in some cases I can, but if I'm drawing something down here, I can't get to that third vanishing point. That's where I have to use the larger ruler, the 24-inch. All right, so I think this goes off the page. The way I have my design. What am I gonna do second? I think I'm gonna make something right here. I'll just draw a couple cubes. I'll do this one next. And oops, it helps if I hit a vanishing point. What am I thinking? Every single line has to hit a vanishing point. So maybe I'll put it right here. Okay, that's better. And I'm just gonna pull a dot here, connect it to that guy, bring it down there. Maybe I'll angle it in a little bit more. Because remember, the proportion's not the same, so you're just kind of guesstimating. It's not a big deal, it's just a starting point. And your composition's gonna change throughout the whole process anyway, so don't get too upset if it's not what you intended it to be. Let's do something like right here. I'm looking at how far that is up. It looks like it's about right here. I'm just gonna mark it. And you can just connect your 2 points. I don't know, looks like it's about that big, so I'm just gonna go about right there somewhere. And again, I'm just guesstimating where the size and scale of things. So you can see I have this rectangle. Already I'm filling in this space. It feels like this blank canvas that I had there before isn't as intimidating as it is now that you have drawings on it. Now, since you guys are gonna be working in a 2H or a 4H pencil, again, your lines are gonna be light. It might not be as easy to document this. So you might have to adjust your contrast in your phone so I can see the line. If I can't see your work, I can't evaluate it. So you might have to do your phone editing software. The iPhone has pretty good phone editing software, but you can always download something. I'll throw one more rectangle in, and then I will call it quits. So I'm just gonna put this guy in here. This used to be all big one large rectangle, and I just kind of sliced and diced it up, but that is for another video. So I think like right there looks good. That's the corner. And I think this is good. And this is a nice little trick. I think I showed you this in other videos, but if you put the pencil there, run the ruler into the pencil, bring it to your left vanishing point, make your line. Now if you go further than what you expected, that's fine. You have an eraser, you just erase it off. The one thing you want to stay away from when you're making your compositions, your designs, for example, if I were to continue this line, and if I were to make a line straight down, but it also shares the same line of another form, don't allow that to happen. Try to either stop short like I did or go past the line. Because your eye will get confused looking at it, so I would just not even deal with it. All right, so this little guy here, I'm gonna put right here, I'm gonna put a little point connected to the left vanishing point. Take this guy here, connect to the right vanishing point. Same with this one. And remember, don't rush, make sure you hit these points. I've had someone put thumbtacks in here and then it just stops at the same point all the time, so that's another trick. And I think this little line, I'd say it's like right here. So I'm just gonna do this. And I'm kind of glad I made another third rectangle because I'm gonna show you that you might want to start to clean this up a little bit so you don't confuse yourself. So this is what this pencil, this little eraser pencil is going to be a savior for this project. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna erase this guy because that's behind this. Erase this guy. So I'm kind of erasing everything inside of these three planes of this rectangle here because this is in front of everything. It is in my sketch. Looks like this is in front of that, so I'm gonna erase this. And when you erase, you don't have to be super clean. I like to have some of these sketch lines going past the point of intersection. I'm just saying erase it so you can understand what the heck you made. The other thing that you can kind of lighten a little bit at this point, you might draw it in later, is you can lighten the horizon line, just a hair. That way it's not going to compete with any of the objects you're drawing at the moment. So you can see that I'm starting to replicate the design here. And once I finish this, I'll begin stage 2. I'll show you how to manipulate some of these forms and take it to the next level. Okay.